Chapter 2 of A Negro Explorer at the North Pole by Matthew A. Henson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 2. July 6, 1908. We're off. For a year and a half I have waited for this order, and now we have cast off. The shouting and the tumult ceases, the din of whistles, bells, and throats dies out. And once again the long, slow surge of the ocean hits the good ship that we have embarked in. It was at 1:30 p.m. today that I saw the last hawse line cast adrift, and felt the throb of the engines of our own ship. Chief Wardwell is on the job, and from now on it is due north. Oyster Bay, Long Island Sound. We are expecting President Roosevelt. The ship has been named in his honor, and has already made one voyage towards the North Pole, farther north than any ship has ever made. July 7. At anchor, the soft wooded hills of Long Island give me a curious impression. I am waiting for the command to attack the savage ice and rock-bound fortress of the north, and here instead we are at anchor in the neighborhood of sheep grazing in green fields. Sydney, Nova Scotia, July 17, 1908. All of the expedition are aboard, and those going home have gone. Mrs. Peary and the children, Mr. Borup's father, and Mr. Harry Whitney, and some other guests, were the last to leave the Roosevelt, and have given us a last good-bye from the tug, which came alongside to take them off. Good-bye, all! Everyone is sending back a word to someone he has left behind, but I have said my good-byes a long time ago, and as I waved my hand in parting salutation to the little group on the deck of the tug, my thoughts were with my wife, and I hoped when she next heard of me, it would be with feelings of joy and happiness, and that she would be glad she had permitted me to leave her for an absence that might never end. The tenderfeet, as the commander calls them, are the doctor, Professor Macmillan, and young Mr. Borup. The doctor is a fine-looking, big fellow, John W. Goodsell, and has a swarthy complexion and straight hair. On meeting me, he told me that he was well acquainted with me by reputation, and hoped to know me more intimately. Professor Donald B. Macmillan is a professor in a college in Massachusetts, near Worcester, and I am going to cultivate his acquaintance. Mr. George Borup is the kid, only 21 years old, but well set up for his age, always ready to laugh, and has thick curly hair. I understand he is a record breaker in athletics. He will need his athletic ability on this trip. I am making no judgments or comments on these fellows now. Wait. I have seen too many enthusiastic starters, and I am sorry to say some of them did not finish well. All of the rest of the members of the expedition are the same as were on the first trip of the Roosevelt: Commander Peary, Captain Bartlett, Professor Marvin, Chief Engineer Wardwell, Charles Percy the steward, and myself. The crew has been selected by Captain Bartlett, and are mostly strangers to me. Commander Peary is too well known for me to describe him at length. Thick reddish hair turning gray, heavy, bushy eyebrows shading his sharpshooter's eyes of steel gray, and long mustache. His hair grows rapidly, and when on the march, a thick, heavy beard quickly appears. He is 6 feet tall, very graceful, and well built, especially about the chest and shoulders, long arms and legs slightly bowed. Since losing his toes, he walks with a peculiar slide-like stride. He has a voice, clear and loud, and words never fail him. Captain Bartlett is about my height and weight. He has short, curly, light brown hair and red cheeks. He is slightly round-shouldered, due to the large shoulder muscles caused by pulling the oars, and is as quick in his actions as a cat. His manner and conduct indicate that he has always been the leader of his crowd from boyhood up, and there is no man on this ship that he would be afraid to tackle. He is a young man, 33 years old, for a ship captain, but he knows his job. Professor Marvin is a quiet, earnest person, and has had plenty of practical experience besides his splendid education. He is rapidly growing bald, his face is rather thin, and his neck is long. He has taken great interest in me, and, being a teacher, has tried to teach me. Although I hope to perfect myself in navigation, my knowledge so far consists only of knot and splice seamanship, and I need to master the mathematical end. The chief engineer, Mr. Wardwell, is a fine-looking, ruddy-complexioned giant, with the most honest eyes I have ever looked into. His hair is thinning and is almost pure white, and I should judge him to be about 45 years old. He has the greatest patience, and I have never seen him lose his temper or get rattled. Charles Percy is Commander Peary's oldest hand, next to me. He is our steward, and sees to it that we are properly fed while aboard ship, and he certainly does see to it with credit to himself. From Sydney to Hawks Harbor, where we met the Erik, has been uneventful except for the odor of the Erik, which is loaded with whale meat and can be smelled for miles. We passed St. Paul's Island and Cape St. George early in the day, and through the Straits of Belle Isle to Hawks Harbor, where there is a whale factory. From here we leave for Turnavik. We have been racing with the Erik all day, and have beaten her to this place. Captain Bartlett's father owns it, and we loaded a lot of boots and skins, which the captain's father had ready for us. From here we sailed to the Eskimo country of North Greenland, without a stop if possible, as the commander has no intention of visiting any of the Danish settlements in South Greenland. Cape York is our next point, and the ship is sailing free. Aside from the excitement of the start and the honor of receiving the personal visit of the President and his words of encouragement and cheer, the trip so far has been uneventful, and I have busied myself in putting my cabin in order and making myself useful in overhauling and stowing provisions in the afterhold. July 24. Still northward bound, with the sea rolling and washing over the ship, and the Erik in the distance seems to be getting her share of the wash. She is loaded heavily with fresh whale meat, and is purposely keeping in leeward of us to spare us the discomfort of the odor. July 25th and 26th. Busy with my carpenter's kit in the commander's cabin and elsewhere. There has been heavy rain and seas, and we have dropped the Erik completely. The Roosevelt is going fine. We can see the Greenland coast plainly, and today, the 29th, we raised and passed Disco Island. Icebergs on all sides. The light at midnight is almost as bright as early evening twilight in New York on the 4th of July, and the ice blink of the interior ice cap is quite plain. We have gone through Baffin's Bay with a rush and raised Duck Island about 10 a.m. and passed and dropped it by 2 p.m. I was ashore on Duck Island in 1891 on my first voyage north, and I remember distinctly the cairn the party built and the money they deposited in it. I wonder if it is still there. There is little use for money up here, and the place is seldom visited except by men from the whalers when their ships are locked in by ice. From here it is 200 miles due north to Cape York. August 1. Arrived at Cape York Bay and went ashore with the party to communicate with the Eskimos, of whom there were 3 families. They remembered us, and were dancing up and down the shore, and waving to us in welcome, and as soon as the bow of the boat had grazed the little beach, willing hands helped to run her up on shore. These people are hospitable and helpful, and always willing, sometimes too willing. As an example, I will tell how, at a settlement farther north, we were going ashore in one of the whaleboats. Captain Bartlett was forward, astraddle of the bow with the boat hook in his hands to fend off the blocks of ice, and knew perfectly well where he wanted to land. But the group of excited Eskimos were in his way, and though he ordered them back, they continued running about and getting in his way. In a very short while the captain lost patience and commenced to talk loudly and with excitement. Immediately Sipsu took up his language and parrot-like started to repeat the captain's exact words. "Get back there! Get back! How do you expect me to make a landing?" And thus does the innocent lamb of the North acquire a civilized tongue. It is amusing to hear Kudlooktoo, in the most charming manner, give Charlie a cussing that from anyone else would cause Charlie to break his head open. For the last week I have been busy with, "Matt, the commander wants you. Matt, do this," and "Matt, do that," and with going ashore and trading for skins, dogs, lines, and other things, and also walrus hunting. I have been up to my neck in work, and have had small opportunity to keep my diary up to date. We have all put on heavy clothing, not the regular fur clothes for the winter, but our thickest civilized clothing, that we would wear in midwinter in the States. In the middle of the day, if the sun shines, the heat is felt, but if foggy or cloudy, the heavy clothing is comfortable. All of the Eskimos want to come aboard and stay aboard. Some we want and will take along, but there are others we will not have or take along on a bet, and the pleasant duty of telling them so and putting them ashore falls to me. It is not a pleasant job to disappoint these people, but they would be a burden to us and in our way. Besides, we have left them a plentiful supply of needfuls, and our trading with them has been fair and generous. The crow's nest has been rigged upon the mainmast, and this morning after breakfast Mr. Whitney, 3 Esquimos, and myself started in Mr. Whitney's motor boat to hunt walrus. The motor gave out very shortly after the start, and the oars had to be used. We were fortunate in getting 2 walrus, which I shot, and then we returned to the ship for the whaleboat. We left the ship with 3 more Esquimos in the whaleboat, and got 4 more walrus. Sunday at Kangderluksua, the land of the reindeer, and the one pleasant appearing spot on this coast. Mr. Whitney and his 6 Esquimo guides have gone hunting for deer, and I have been ashore to trade for dogs and furs, and have gotten 27 dogs, sealskin lines for lashings, a big bearskin, and some fox skins. I try to get fur skins from animals that were killed when in full fur and before they have started to shed, but some of the skins I have traded in are raw and will have to be dried. I have had the disagreeable job of putting the undesirable ashore, and it was like handling a lot of sulky school children. Siglu, the dog owner, is invited to bring his pack aboard and is easily persuaded. He will get a Springfield rifle and loading outfit and also a Winchester if he will sell, and he is more than willing. And this is the story of day after day from Cape York to Etah Harbor, which we reached on August 12th. End of chapter 2.